Hello. Just let me know if you guys can hear me or not hear me. Okay, cool. So I'm going to read some poems from a collection that's in progress called Craigslist Trained Girls. It's kind of written in a specific way. Specifically, you guys know Craigslist. This is kind of a nerdy tangent, but if you use Firefox, there's a tool called Firebug, and what you can do with that is basically insert text into existing web pages. And I found this out when I started my job, and the first thing I did was play practical jokes with my friends. Be like, hey, Tim Lincecum's getting traded, type that in, take a screenshot, tell people to freak out. But shortly after that, I thought it'd be cool to write some poems, specifically on Craigslist, kind of as a service that's about looking for things, seeking stuff out, whatever that is. So I'm going to read a couple poems from that. This first poem is called Grinding. There is eye contact, there is a little smiling. There is hello, there is the yelling into ears. Do you work out is one of the first things they ask you. What do you do, they also want to know. Later they tell you that you are very big or that your body is very good. There is a list of things to say, and very often these things are on that list. Maybe you haven't seen the list because it is published in a magazine that you don't read, or maybe it isn't published, but there is a list and they have all memorized it. They taste sweet or smoky, but never minty. They are not a toothpaste commercial. They are thirsty and they make you thirsty. Thirsty tongues look for cool water and failing take a little break. What do you do? They want to know when you tell them. You don't ask them what they do, and sometimes they tell you what they do, and you smile and say, cool, even if you did not hear it. Very often it is very hard to hear. Sometimes there is no talking, and those are sometimes the best times. Sometimes you are just eyes and a smile, or very often just eyes, just staring eyes floating above and into. Really very rarely there is intercourse. Sometimes they are in ecstasy, but almost never you are. Sometimes they are in ecstasy and they're even less than eyes. They're even more than them and you're even more than you. Really almost never do you ask if it is okay. Really very rarely is that question. There are black wet strands of hair, there are spaghetti straps. There is loneliness, there is forgetting. There is negation, there is affirmation. There is grinding. This poem is called Two Graduations. She was so young. He was young, but she was so young. She was not graduating. She was in the school play, so she was starring in the school play. She almost always had her shinai with her. She very frequently had her violin with her. She had perfect pitch, and she had survived cancer, so she was certainly going to survive this so. He was graduating. They spent the summer together holding wet hands. They spent the summer in his car, in her bed when her parents weren't, in his bed when his parents. Sometimes they spent the summer in her bed when her parents were, so he spent the summer in the closet where couldn't breathe, so he spent the summer ashamed. Ashamed they got caught very often. Once upon a time they got caught and they were ashamed. Then they again and they were not caught, but they had been caught, so they were caught. Once upon a time it was raining and he was alone in the doorbell and she was wet and she said, I love you, and he knew he didn't and she wasn't, and he said, do you want to come in? Gradually he graduated completely. Gradually he put things in boxes and taped them shut. Gradually his parents cried and crying drove him to the university of. He didn't cry and didn't even try to. So gradually they grew apart, gradually there was less to say. He read the mail she sent him, but didn't have anything to say, so said nothing, so. And so she sent him a very long letter, and he read most of it. And the letter said, I can't be so irrational and sad and so pathetic right now. I feel lost, hopeless. I don't know what I hate, that I feel like incomplete right now, and that I even feel more pathetic than that, because if my pathetic side is being really pathetic, tell me. because I'm an awesome person too. You're a good person, I am too. I'm too good a person to be friends with you. I'm sorry if I'm just being I just want you to know what a good person I'm being and the sacrifices I'm making just to see your school. And you, one day, someday will appreciate that and make me feel like that, not make me cry or worry that I'm not good enough, so I'm sending, which I know you hate, so I'm sorry, I don't need to be, I hate you. I don't want you to hate me, I hate sitting in the dark, confused and lost, so take care of yourself. So love always. So thanks. So much love. So after he graduated, he did not leave right away. Almost no one did. When he did leave, he was the last one. He was not the last one there, but he was the last one in the house, and he felt that he was the last one there, the very last. When he did leave, there were very many things in the house that were not his. There were bags of garbage and very many notebooks and a full refrigerator. When he left, there were very many things in the house that were his. A queen-size mattress and a desk and a full closet. The things had to go to New York or in the trash. They could not stay in the house. A girl had agreed to look at the things, but after, she did not want them. He had to go to New York. He could not go in the trash or stay in the house. He imagined himself in the trash and smiled. He was the last one in the house. In the trash, he said, in the house. He asked for a van. He would drive himself and his things to New York. He asked for a van, but they gave him a truck because they did not have any more vans. The truck was 17 feet long, could not hold up 2 bedrooms, and they didn't have anything smaller, so he parked the van outside of the house and put things in it. The first thing he put in it was a queen-size mattress. The last thing he put in it was a ball. When everything was in the van, he got in the van, and everything was in the van. He got in the van and sat down, and really felt like crying. He almost really did cry then. This one's called Avoid Scams and Fraud. By the steps of the downtown Berkeley BART station, you said you couldn't walk with me because it was getting late, even though it was only 9 p.m. So as a parting shot, I described the barrier between us, some looming thing we couldn't break with words. I told you maybe our friendship depended more on sex than we wanted to admit, and that I was ready to give up on it. And hurt, you turned away from me, and hurt, I awkwardly grabbed your arm and said I was sorry. And you said you still want to walk, and I said yes. So we walked along the edge of campus and ran our hands along the wet brown wall. And you led me to your old high school, showed me the temporary trailers that they were still using 8 years later, while I tried locked doors and stepped in puddles. We left, and I picked up a slug and dropped him off further along the path I thought he was on. Then you said we really should be heading back, and as we walked up University Street, I said that I hated California, already slipping into a version of myself that neither of us liked. But we arrived, so I looked long into you and pressed you against me and kept my arms around you until they couldn't. And then withdrawing, I squeezed your wrists and hurried down the same steps, and we left with our minds dancing. Maybe we could be friends after all, and that was a beautiful way to say goodbye. Cool, this is my last one. This poem's called Homepage, because if you were to look at it, it would be the homepage of Craigslist. I think there's a book, so if you check it out. I grit class, I slit cracks, girl is cast, avoid scams and fraud, personal safety tips, graduate from the IKEA mattress, too much history in those 400 threads. Who could guess years of yawning regret would leave such pesky stains? The obsessive love of every girl so long as she smiles at me. Small wonder I couldn't love just one, and not well at that, but she's gone now. Strictly platonic, our running joke, we should have come up with more of them. After a while it was enough. Too many misconnections, a need for casual encounters. If only to feel. Why even start? Is Lucia blame your health for permanence, pains, and classics? Study 3 left, recover pieces of her. Drink water lost deep to science from mud caked on your spirit hide camera with Eliza. Your Cleo, the beer taste poems, your lips we tea touch, wrote your love. And feet for ego's dance secret, never oversold, thought flow filled. Never bring women built with words, broken spill pills. Beautiful, And she's the kind of girl that makes you want to get a gym membership and buy one of those big bottles of protein. But her name doesn't matter. All that matters is your trench coat, your ass, the skinny white cord of your headphones twirling around your fingers, your eyes, dark lashes. Your eyes don't matter. They all look the same, squeezed shut or rolled up in ecstasy. Love at the train station between northbound and southbound tracks, that platform like a fault line, precarious refuge for wartime lovers, soon parted. Their famous kiss tattooed in history books, in hippocampi of generations kissing as the trembling jealous earth tears them apart. So forgive my staring, stirring her thin suit pants, pink coral sweater hugging perky breasts, freckles splayed along the nose, long brown hair stringy wet. Stop. What folly to seek out hellos in this BART station, in this hallowed mausoleum of goodbyes. Before the angry familiarity, resentful recognition of your body parts, the same restaurants, before you know her limits, before she is special, and your love and hate for her makes her like no one else, before all that, she's simply beautiful and your heart leaps up. Remember how it beat at footsteps outside your dorm room? The slap slap of flip-flops? How quickly it meant nothing? How quickly 3 years passed? And what did you have to show for it? But aching? And when you broke everything, didn't it feel good? Didn't you wish you had made 1,000 more mistakes? Her final gift, someone to blame for not taking chances. Thanks.